Alright, I should be live. Give me a moment to check and make sure it's working properly. I think it should be good. Am I streaming to the wrong? Nope. I'm just waiting for it to pop up. Because YouTube Live is showing me that I'm live, but I'm not seeing it on my channel here. Okay, now it's saying I'm live. Here we go. Okay. Looks like everything's fine. So I can start now, I guess. So hello everyone. I woke up like 30 minutes ago. I noticed in my last stream that my voice started low and then progressively got higher as the stream went on. My morning voice is a lot deeper. I'm gonna just demo the game really quick because a lot of people go back and watch the streams and they start from the beginning, so it's good to show it off at the beginning. So what did I do last time? Oh, right, last time I did, well, first of all, you can kill things and get XP on your weapons now. So I can go right here and I can see my revolver's a level 2, 50 out of 200 XP. And then also I have a tab menu now where I can see all the players connected. But that's the main changes since from the last stream. I didn't get it. Well, okay, I had time to work on this game over the week since the last stream, but I didn't because I was doing something else. And actually I might show you guys that because it was interesting. Let me see if I can get to the hub though. Almost there. I have this map kind of memorized. Alright. So yeah, you can do the 3D thing and warp somewhere else. I keep forgetting my key bindings here. Yep. So that's the game. I feel like yeah, the Terraria music. I was just noticing that it's fitting for what I'm making here. But yeah, I meant to switch the music to something else today, but didn't have enough time. I do have my other set of like a bunch of random stuff that I can use, but I didn't bother. So where is it? Alright, here it is. Oh, this is not gonna work from here. Hold on. The only way to do this is from here. Hang on. I haven't. This might work. This might not. We'll see. Looks like it's working. It just takes a bit to start up. If you're in my Discord server, you've seen, or you've probably seen what I'm about to show you. But this is, well, once this loads, it's the thing that's been taking up my time this week. Here we go. This is what's been taking up my time this week. So I've been doing some 3D rendering stuff. Can I like for some reason the lighting thing, no one can move the lighting, but I guess that broke. This is a birch tree. This is like a Minecraft map ported to a 3D model. So I think this is a birch tree, these are oak. But yeah, so it's a 3D renderer I'm working on, although the 3D renderer is going to be used for a different project, so come on. I have a specific project I want to do with the 3D renderer, but it's not a game. It's like 3D pose tracking. Well, pose tracking with a 3D avatar in Python. But I wanted to get a good 3D renderer working. So like I have alphas, I have normals, I have specularity. What else is there? Textures, obviously, and a bunch of stuff working. I might be messing around with physically based materials soon, or physically based rendering, PBRs. Wait, I haven't noticed this side door. Where's this go? Huh. Interesting. Anyways, that is not for today though. Today I am working on the MMO. Do I ever show my face anywhere? No. I've shown everything except for my face pretty much though. If you look on my second channel, I play Beat Saber with a webcam sometimes, but my head's always out of view. Minecon Live 2 hours later. Huh. I think I remember seeing that. What code editor am I using? This is the Atom. It says in the description. Alright. So, for today, I'm adding item drops. So, item drops will be interesting. They're gonna function like an entity. Although, the way it's gonna work is they're just gonna have a starting position, and then the client will physically handle the rest. Or actually, probably, the items are gonna bounce kind of out of the entities when they die. Ooh, that actually might be a problem with walls. So, here, let me show you guys what I'm thinking about here. So, theoretically, an enemy can die in a wall. So if they die here in the wall, I'm gonna have a problem, because where does the item go? Right now, the gun I'm using right now can't shoot through walls, but there'll probably be ways to kill things inside walls later. So yeah, if it dies in the wall, where does the item go? That is gonna be a problem. I'm thinking what I could do is I could cast a line from the entity to where the player is standing. And then once it hits open air, it spawns it. What I can do, so at the moment I don't have the server parsing the terrain. The server is not aware of the terrain at the moment. It will be later, but for now, what I might do is, I was thinking of having the player tell the server kind of where it is, and then the server can figure out from there. Or wait, no, not necessarily that. The player would have to tell the game, well, the server would, to drop the items. But that sounds like a bad idea now that I think about it. So, okay, now the plan is, and you can tell I haven't really thought about this yet. Now the plan is just drop the items wherever the thing dies, and then when I add the terrain to the server, so that the server can do physics calculations, when I add that, I'll add the item dropping that goes outside of the walls. But yeah, for the time being, I'll just make it so that they can drop inside walls. And then, so the idea is I kill something, it creates a couple instances of items, and the items can, well, they'll start where the thing died at the center, and they'll have an angle associated with them, and then maybe a force, and then from there all the clients compute it themselves. So due to delta time, the physics calculations on the items won't be the exact same, so they might show up in different places for different players, but that should be only slightly. That's also not a huge issue if it does show up in different places either. The server just needs to know they exist and where they started from, pretty much. I'm gonna read chat real quick. I don't like mobile games, so I don't make them. Have I made games that are not platformers? Yes, look at my itch page or my website, you'll find tons of them. Do you plan on making a big RPG game project? That's what Vagrant is. How much will Vagrant be? I'm not sure. What is the average FPS and CPU usage of the 3D renderer? It's pretty low. Well, the CPU usage is low. The FPS, it's probably pretty high. I could probably run it at a few hundred FPS. Because, I mean, all of the computations pretty much are on the GPU, so it's pretty fast. It's pretty much just sending well, actually, I believe the vertex buffer is already sent to the GPU. The only thing it does every frame is rebind textures and tell the GPU to render the vertex attribute object, which is basically the model. I'm not really interested in making a first-person shooter unless it's VR, which I might do at some point, but not right now. All right. So we have a couple items here that I want to add, and I don't have artwork for any of them yet, which means I have to do that right now. So if I go over to the code here, here. So I'm not sure. Do I have this? I have this revolver here. That's one of the item icons. Let me see what the dimensions are. So the items are 16 by 16. I'm not sure if the outline is if there is an outline. Okay, there's no outline. So time to make the items, which we have. First is the floating pearl. What is that? I don't remember what the floating pearl is supposed to do. What? Okay. I wrote this list down so long ago that I've forgotten what it was supposed to do. It might have been like that it was supposed to be a stat boost of some kind, or like you could equip it. I don't know. Or maybe it's just a generic item. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, like, I'm not going off of memory here. I'm going off of this is how I probably was thinking. The floating pearl is probably supposed to be just kind of in a drop that maybe could be used for something, but the floating part is probably just because the enemy itself floats. So, and the idea is probably that this pearl makes it float and it's inside the enemy, and then it's also made up of flesh. So I'm going to have to make both of these two things here, and then the lens rifle. The lens rifle is going to be a fully automatic weapon. Technically the revolver, like in terms of the gameplay, is fully automatic, but I'm probably gonna change that at some point. The fire rate's still slow though, so okay, so the floating pearl should probably be like, should I make it look like an ender pearl? That is the question. Alright, so let's take some blue here. Blue, blue. Okay, so I could go with what? Thank you, MS Paint. You can't draw a correct circle. MS Paint's like impressively bad at drawing circles. Okay, that's too big because you can see it's going outside. I don't know why it does this. Until I want it 16 by 16 and it gives me 17 by 17. If you want 16 by 16, you gotta do this. And then you also have, like, you have to be careful to make sure that it actually did it correctly. And it doesn't have any inconsistent edges. MS Pen is like that. MS Paint. Alright. So there's a bunch of ways I could shade this. I'm gonna be a little bit sloppy because I'm not trying to make super good art for this game. Because a lot of people are not gonna care. There needs to be a bit more of a curve here. So that should be good. And then we just grab some white and add some highlights here. That's just that's about it. Let's put in some other highlights over here though. I'm not sure if I like that. I think that border needs to be 1 pixel thick. So I'm gonna remove that. I think it needs to be like this. There we go. We have an orb. Woo. Okay, now I want to do something to make it look special in some way. Maybe I'll put some red inside it. So I'm gonna take some red here. And then, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just adding shapes. Okay, I think it needs to be more logical placement. So we could put like, we could do that, and then that makes some amount of sense. And then I'll take a darker red and I think that looks visually interesting, which is the goal. Let's just a little touch up. All right. That looks good enough for me. I don't know what it is, other than, I mean, I know it's what it's called. I don't know what the red thing is, but it looks interesting, so I'll take it. So next up is the flesh. This will probably be just made out of the red here that I've already got. So I'm gonna draw a rough outline here, and then I'll read chat. So I could do the whole rotten flesh thing where it's shaped like this or whatever. But actually I'll probably do something roughly like that. Actually I want to look more like a mound. That sounds more interesting to me. That's probably too wide actually. Hold on. There we go. Now that's a very symmetrical mound, which is a big no-no. So we do a little bit of adding some bumps here. I can add like bones maybe to this, so maybe I'll replace some of these protrusions with bones. I need to change my secondary color. There we go. And then this can probably go here, and that should be 16 wide, and we're good. Okay. How do you make an NPC take the shortest path to somewhere? There's several techniques. Look up A-star pathfinding though. That's the primary technique. What am I going to use once Adam is killed? Probably VS Code. I'm not sure though. We'll see. Because I switch between languages so much, like I don't spend that much time working in other languages, but I do it occasionally. Well, I do it a lot, but for not very long. And so I probably won't use Pycharm for that reason. How to learn everything for making games? What advice would I give to my younger self? Well, to learn everything with Pygame, there's not a whole lot of like functionality to learn with Pygame. It's mostly about problem solving and stuff, and then a lot of the stuff you see that makes my games look better is just visual techniques in the code, but also artwork. For the artwork, you get better by just doing it more. At least that's how I got better. It's probably not the optimal technique because there are lots of people that get better at art way faster than I do. As for the advice, I don't think I really have any recommendations for how I would tell myself to learn differently, because maybe I would say use more references for learning pixel art, and maybe I would have learned a bit faster. But other than that, I can't think of a whole lot. What is my animation workflow? Well, I don't do it in MS Paint. I do it in Sprite, and that's how I would handle animation. The rest I do in MS Paint though. And that answers the other question as well. So I do use pixel art software aside from MS Paint, but only for animation. So I'm gonna add some bones sticking out of here. Actually, it should probably be more like where's the gray color? Here we go. Okay, these are some really sloppy bones, but I don't really care that much. Alright. I'm doing a lot of things pretty sloppily here. because this game is not about the visuals. There we go. Now, can I like connect these maybe? Trying to make this stuff look a little bit more coherent here. So that looks like Flash kind of. Or getting there. I think it needs something in there to make it look a little bit dirty. I can also extend the bottom a little bit here. And then there we go. Maybe I'll round it too a little bit, just a little bit. And then I could potentially add maybe bones, a bone sticking out right here or something. And then for that, I just do a little bit of shading. And then I do have to erase that. But now I can do this maybe. Okay, I don't want to erase all of that. There we go. So there's some bones sticking out and stuff. I think there needs to be like a little bit of green or something. Just to make it look a bit dirtier. So I'm just going to add green in a couple spots here. I think I need a tiny bit of green in the top left here, I think. There we go. That looks fleshy enough to me. So last up here is going to be the lens rifle. I think, yeah, that's good dimension-wise. Okay, so somehow I had to fit an entire rifle into 16 pixels. So let's draw our 16 pixel line, which should be just the width of this orb, I think. Can't draw a straight line. Average mouse movement. Alright, I think that's correct. Can check with this and see. Yeah, wait. Oh, am I one short? Yes, I'm one short. Where did that... Is my orb one short? Whatever. Well, so this is the length I get to work with here. I'm not too concerned about height because this thing's going to be longer than it is tall. So, we're going to need a barrel. So it's going to be made out of the red stuff probably, because it's a drop from the eye enemy thing. So I think the idea here is to, it's gonna be a funky looking weapon. It's gonna have this thing is gonna be the lens essentially. I want to make it look thicker, but I also don't want to. It's kind of the shape's hard to get right here. So, should it be this way, or should the... I think it should be flipped the other way. The thing is, if you're thinking about lenses, if, for example, the light's coming this way, or I can't really see my arrow there. If the light's coming from left to right, this lens shape would focus it down into a point. But if you think about the way an eye is shaped, which is where this weapon's coming from, you would expect that the lens would be like this and the projectiles would come out like that. But in terms of lenses, that would really mean that the projectiles would go like all over the place. From minor changes right there. So in terms of physics, it should be like this. In terms of aesthetics, it should be like this. What I could do if I wanted to mix both is to make this just like, instead of a rifle, it just sprays. No, like, instead of like a normal rifle, it would be I don't know, like akin to an SMG, where it just sprays in a lot of directions. And then it's physically accurate, and I do have the curve the way you would expect it to be. But the game needs a rifle right now, so I'm gonna probably make this a rifle for now. So I'm gonna add like just to the generic form of the weapon here now. So we get our stock and our handle. And then how should I do this? Sometimes the stock's kind of like that. I think I'll put like an iron sight. I'll put an iron sight right here. I don't know if it should be here or here. Probably right there. And then it's funny because there's the giant lens in the way, but it's part of the gun aesthetic. So certain portions in here need to be made out of something else. I could just make this thing out of flesh, so it's like green goes here, and then, well, most of this is going to be darker, so we do like that or something. Actually, I can do that probably. That probably looks best. And then we need to add some shading around here. How should I do this? Okay, so the end here does need to be darker, that's for sure. And then maybe I'll put one dark point right there, and then do that. It's a little bit of a dark spot right in front of the irons. I think that looks about right. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the green there though. I could make it white. That would also work. It's like the bones sticking out, which would make sense. Alright, so since this is a lens, it should be... I'm kind of coloring it as if it's not a lens, which I'm not sure if I should be doing. I can do this, maybe. That doesn't look right. I think the other shading looks better. I think that's the best I can do here. For now, at least. Could maybe do that. I think I'll leave it like that. That's good enough. And good enough is for what I'm going for here. Alright. I'll read chat once I get these images saved. So I'll do the orb first, which apparently is 1 pixel too small. Active encavers, data, images. Items. So this is the floating pearl. Nice. One moment, I just noticed there's something I need to take care of real quick. In terms of not doxing myself. So, give me a moment. Alright, I think I should be good. I'm just doing a quick check. Alright. Is it this one? Yeah, it's that one. Okay, we're back. I do need to save the other images, so gotta pull up the sketch thing again. So we have this thing now. I'm not sure how I want to do this height-wise. Probably something like that. There we go. Alright. So this is the flesh. And then the last thing I need is the lens rifle. Wait. It needs to be vertically centered. I missed. There we go. So I can save this. We get our lens rifle. And then, so we have our 3 different item types here. So next, we're gonna need the server to spawn them when something is killed. And for that, we need to also have drop rates for different entities. I believe it could be here. Here's some of the enemy data. Whatever, I'll just write it in here, like the spaghetti. Wait, I should have a config thing maybe. I don't. I'm just going to make one. So we'll do drops equals, and we'll go eyeball, and then it should be a list, or yeah. So from here, I can do. I'll probably just do like a single item and then a chance. So I'll do flesh, for example, and there's a 0.5. Actually, I'm gonna make drops of this game on the rare side, so let's do 0.2. But it's possible to get 2 flesh from one thing, so I'm going to put that in twice. You can also get the floating pearl. What did I call? Did I put a space in it? No, I didn't. Okay. So you can get the floating pearl, but that's going to be on a lot rarer. 1 in 20, and then you can get the lens rifle, which will be actually for testing purposes. I'm going to make that number higher. The lens rifle will be pretty rare. You gotta kill 100 of them to get it, probably. So I can load in these drops and then just kind of generate drops from here. So that would be over, I think this drops are, well, death is actually handled over here under the damage endpoint. Yeah, right here, damage. So this is where it does all the XP calculations. If you saw the last stream, this was done in the last stream, all this XP stuff. Alright, I'm gonna read chat real quick. The add-on theme, I don't remember. I think is this not the default? I can't remember. Well, okay. I think that the coloring for my text and stuff is the default, but everything around it is not. This is like, is it like one dark or, hold on, let me see. Oh, well, here you go. Base 16 tomorrow dark and, SETI. How do you pick a color palette? You can pull them off the internet, because, I think it was ruled that palettes can't be copyrighted. But also, there are techniques for making your own, which I do a lot of the time. Usually I'll take a palette off the internet and slightly modify it. Actually, now that I think about that, that's technically, I think, a US ruling, so I don't know how that works for other countries. But here in the US, there's no copyright on palettes, as far as I know. Why are messages in here? Oh, that font used for the chat on the screen is my pixel art font that I use in my games, and I haven't drawn characters aside from the what you see in the English alphabet. Will I release this game in the future? I mean, that's the goal, but I mean, this is just a low priority project. I'm working on it for fun, so there's like no commitment here. I just like I did some of the work in March, and then I just didn't work on it for several months, and then I came back to it, and I don't know. This project's kind of on and off, but I've done 2 playtests. But yeah, that also answers the question of how long I've been working on this, which is since March technically, but I only work on it occasionally. I think a fair amount of this has been streamed, maybe? I don't know. Maybe a third of it, actually. I don't know. Something like that. Anyways. Right here, I need to calculate the drops. For this, all I have to do, we have the entity type. So we can get, this is death right here. So, drop options equals drops, and then we throw in the type. I do need to import the drops though. So, oh, I have a stats thing. Come on, that's exactly what I needed. I don't need the config thing now. So we just do drop stats, and then we can take this, move this over to stats. And then we can delete the config file here. And now over on the server, go down here, place out drop stats, and drop options will be essentially this, or rather this. So from here, I go through each one, and then actually what I should do is make a function for this. Calculate drops, entity ID, and then I can go drop options equal drop stats, and entity ID, and then drops equals an empty list for drop in the options. We evaluate if it should be added to what gets dropped. So I'm gonna import random here because it takes randomness to calculate this. So if random.random is less than drop 1, so if the chance of it dropping occurs, we add the item. So drops to append drop 0. So from here, not sure how I should do this. I'm gonna have to look at the entity structure. Anyways, so I need this function in my server code up here. So I take calculate drops, and I can just do drops equals calculate drops, and then we take the entity ID, and then we have a list of items that should be dropped in this drops variable. So from here, we need to create some entities. So for that, I'm gonna look over my entities code. I think I do have something here. So, well, here's enemy. So for I should probably replace enemy with item and throw that in as well. So let's see what the updates include here. So we have a tick thing. What does it do? So it processes behaviors. So I don't think I wouldn't use this. Type. I don't think I want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a group thing. Group enemy. And then all I have to do now is go over here and say if entity group is enemy, then it does this weird stuff. Wait, where's this next change thing coming from? So only enemies should have like scheduled movements, which is what that code was for that I'm trying to move. The items are just gonna pop out and like they have a spawn position. That's all the server cares about. Okay, I think that should be good. Where's it? So this next change is pulling from the queue chain, or change queue, which is a generic thing that's not associated with the entity data, but that won't need to be a thing for items. So let's do an item though. So def item ID. We need a spawn location as well. The angle will be random, or actually, yeah, random for now. Players will be able to drop items later, but for now, when they get dropped by players, it'll just go straight down or whatever, or something like that. When they pop out of an enemy, it's gonna shoot everywhere. So for now, since I'm just going to have them pop out of enemies, I'm not gonna add the extra like angle argument or anything. So the angle will be randomly generated. It should be in radians, which means, oh boy. Actually, no, I could do it in terms of velocity. So let's do data equals this. We get ID, item ID init velocity equals random by 100 minus 50. And then it should also be going up a what? Something like that. And then item data or none. Oh, I did not mean to pull up the settings. So in the we have events. Wait, where are the items created? I think it's player tracker. So the player tracker can generate weapons, which is important. Default inventory, how's that calculated? Alright. So non-weapon items are pretty much just the ID, I think. Let's see. So I can see down here what the layout is, kinda. So we have a level, XP, unique owners, because it will track the owners and stuff. The ID modifications, custom name, unique ID. Does it need that? Or I guess it does. So only weapons need a unique ID, really, I think. Owners, yeah, okay, so looking at it, you really only need, well, for the non-weapons, I guess you get the count and the ID. So in the stats, I will define, oh, I can do it from here. Let's see what I'm doing in a moment. So from stats, wait, from stats import the weapon stats. So I can use this to determine if an item is a weapon. So all I have to do, item data equals, so the default will be type, or well, how did I do it down here? So it's underscore ID. That was initially an accident. It just ended up staying that way. So the underscore ID thing comes from MongoDB, but it doesn't make any sense to use it in that circumstance. It's just an accident and I never bothered to fix it. Anyways, so item ID is item ID. The count will be 1 for now. And then, if item ID in weapon stats, that means it would be a weapon. Item data equals, and then for this, I'm gonna have to get my gen weapon function from player tracker. From player tracker import gen weapon. So I can generate a weapon. The owner thing is interesting. If owner else that, if owner else 0. Alright. So item ID, item data equals gen weapon, and then we can take our weapon ID. So item ID, and we don't have an owner because this item is dropping in the world space. So we just assign our data there, and we now have our item data. Does it have its position? No, it doesn't. So how to do this? Location, location. It needs a group as well, so group item. And I think that's everything. So we have our ID, we have our item data, location. Don't need any of those. We do need the group, but in the just needs the initial velocity. So the server needs to know that the items exist, even though they don't. Well, okay, it needs to keep a memory of which items exist in the world, even though it doesn't track where they're going. Because otherwise, when the players pick up the items, they can tell the server to pick up an item. If the server's not tracking whether or not they are currently existing in the world space, then the player can just duplicate all they want by just hacking. So I do have to keep track of which items exist, so there can only be one copy of everything. So for this, I don't have any scheduled updates because, ooh. Where's this elif coming from? Oh, that goes here. It just needs another indentation. I think it goes like that. Anyways, there's no like updates that need to be done for these. All it is just keeping track of which items exist and where. Oh. Speaking of which, they do need a unique ID because the game needs to, well, the clients need to be able to tell the server which item they're picking up. So I have unique ID here. I can just generate a new one. So we can do that, and then that is that. Problem solved. I'm gonna fix the styling here. Alright. So I do have random, so that's that. The item has a unique ID guaranteed, and guaranteed it has that ID, and it has a count if it's not a weapon. So now it's a matter of adding this item to the game. So I believe spawn entity. Yes. So I can check maybe if this is an enemy type. I don't know, wait. What's the spawn arguments here? Type, location, world. Okay. So, the only thing I need to swap here is that. So the entity type becomes the item type, I guess, if it's an item. So, do I have... and all enemies equals eyeball. I just need to know what's an enemy and what's an item. So I'll take that, and then I can check if the thing being spawned is in that to determine if I'm spawning an enemy or an item. So if entity type in all enemies, you do that, else edata equals item, and then you do the same thing, I think. Yeah. So you add the data. I'm not sure I agree with that. Hold up. So for enemies, the ID is the unique ID. Okay, yeah, I'll do it like this. So this is like doing a little bit of overwriting stuff, sort of. Okay, so for weapons, they will have their own unique ID that's separate from this ID. This ID is only for the world space so that I can tell the server which item I'm picking up. After that, it doesn't really matter. So that's that. And then that now matches this. So I can look at the ID for everything here. And then we need to make sure that everything's good here. So this looks good. Get the data, put it in the world under as an entity, tell all the players that it exists, and then I should see it. I need to go to the... Well, I won't be able to see the item. I just will be able to get the data telling me that the item exists, pretty much. So if I go over to networking, spawn, and look for spawn, print, update, data. All right. I'll read chat real quick, and then I need to use the restroom, and I'll keep going. For all those people asking about the theme, I just showed it earlier. I don't know if those messages were before or after I showed. What do I think about competitive programming? So I've done it, and I've won stuff doing it. But I did it at a community college level. So there's like a weird gap. Like there's a jump from community college level to university level, where it switches from problem solving to problem solving plus knowledge of data structures and algorithms. So I like competitive programming before that jump, but not really after that jump. Like data structures and algorithms don't interest me that much. When I'm talking about data structures and algorithms, I'm talking about like how I have a series where I'm going over those topics, although I've only started with sorts and stuff. But there's tons of data structures you would use in higher level competitive programming, and there's a lot of memorization in how you're supposed to solve certain types of problems rather than just being pure problem solving. So I kind of like it when it's pure problem solving. And a good example of what the difference is if you look at here, let me pull it up. So we have, what's it called? Advent of code. So, well, let me see, is there like previous years? All right. So, like you get Advent of code is a good example of the types of problems you would see in community college level programming competitions and lower, but higher up is more like LEET code. So in LEET code, let me make sure this doesn't have my name on it. I don't. Okay, I'm not even logged in, so I'm good. So on LEET code, you can look into these if you want. They're like very specific, like data structure and problems, and usually it's like you have to find a solution in a very specific runtime. Whereas Advent of code is just about solving the problem. So to get a good idea of the difference there, you'd have to look at the two types of problems yourself. But yeah, so like I like the stuff that's more like Advent of code is essentially what I'm saying. And yeah, that's just kind of the funner side of programming problems. But as for the rest of like aside from the fun of solving the problems, my thoughts on programming competitions are that they're not that generally applicable to normal programming. So you get the problem solving aspect, but if you take the higher level competitions where half of it is the knowledge of data structures and algorithms, that doesn't help you a whole lot in most cases. So it becomes very detached from like normal programming tasks, I would say. It's its own thing. Considering my track record in programming competitions at the community college level, I could probably get onto the team at my university if I wanted to, but I would have to study data structures and algorithms, which I don't really want to do, because, as I mentioned, it's kind of its own thing. It has some use cases and stuff, but for the most part, you're not using those things when you're working on other, like normal programming projects. So I just don't have a whole lot of interest in doing that. I would rather learn things that I can use to make other things that are interesting, rather than just solving those very specific problems. Okay. How do you deal with delays in multiplayer games? There's a ton of different ways you can do it. The standard solution is to make the players play in the past, sort of like they're playing with what the past was. But if you can't do that because of like some restrictions, say for example, it's a racing game maybe, you'll show the players a predicted position essentially, but predicting positions doesn't work that well in a lot of cases. So there's a variety of solutions depending on what you're trying to do, but in my case here, it's just showing the player what everyone else was doing earlier. But since this is a PvE game and not PvP, that's perfectly fine. So the players are working together essentially to fight enemies, or just they're just kind of in the same world together and they can explore together and whatnot. It's not competitive directly against each other, so it's not an issue if the players' positions aren't entirely accurate. So I said I don't want to dox myself, but do I have a dev job as a day job? So I am currently a student at university. I should graduate next year, but I've worked a few different jobs, and I do have one right now. Working on flight simulator related software. Before I was working on rockets, but yes, I do have a job. What packages do I use? There's a lot of them. It depends on the circumstances, but I mean, obviously Pygame. I don't think I add a whole lot extra. The main one I use here is the noise library. If you're talking about ones that don't come pre-installed with Python. But if you're talking about the ones that do come in pre-installed, you can see there's a bunch of them if I go like right here or something and scroll up. Actually, wait, no. Just time. That's the main one. But I use like sockets and JSON and random OS, sys, noise, Pygame, all sorts of stuff. The rest of those imports are things I wrote in this project. Why not use Vim? I do use Vim for work. I just don't use it for my personal projects. I think it's useful when you're SSHing into a remote server and you need to modify something, but I prefer a full like code editor otherwise. Do I make games for cash or only for fun? Both. I haven't sold a game in like 3 years though, so right now it's for fun, kind of. Although I do have plans to sell something in the near future, hopefully. Yes, I am willing to do just about anything in Python. People assume that you can't do a lot of things that you can absolutely do with Python. So once you get past a certain point, between my experience with Python in relation to everything else, and just because of my experience with Python in relation to everything else, I don't know if it's unusual for programming languages, but at least with Python, it feels like you can do just about anything. Like most languages have specific use cases or like a small set. Python is very broad. It's used for data science, it's used for AI. As you've seen, I've used it to make games. It's used for data processing. Wait, I might already said that. It's used for web development. Lots of automation, lots of stuff. So just about everything except for embedded systems you can use Python for. I think JavaScript is starting to become like that because of Node.js, where they're trying to use it for everything. Although I think Python's a lot better. Like I like the syntax a lot more. But people think it's slow because it's interpreted. But as long as you write good code, you can get it. You can do a lot of stuff. And you also have to work sometimes with libraries that are not written in Python. So you'll for example, Pygame's not written in Python. Well, sort of. It's a wrapper for STL, which is C. The PyOpenGL is, I don't think, written in Python. So, a lot of the stuff you're working with stuff that's not written in Python, so it runs perfectly fine. It's just down to your own logic in the end for how you handle things. Oh boy, there's a lot more messages I missed. Oh, man, that's a lot of messages. I'm very, very far behind. Uh-oh. Okay. Can I make a tutorial about shadow casting? So actually, I was planning on doing that a long time ago. I just never got around to it. I do have a module on GitHub that does that. If you want to take a look at that, it's just kind of it takes a while to cover, kind of, and there's a bunch of techniques depending on how you want to do it. Which is easier for game dev, Lua or Python? I think a lot of people would say that Lua is easier to get into. I think it reads slightly more naturally than Python, but I find it less convenient to work in because you have to write begin or I don't think you have to write begin, but you have to write end everywhere. It's like while something do, and then you do code, and then you have to write end instead of just unindenting. I would even prefer curly braces over that, because writing end instead of a closed curly brace or just unindenting is a lot more work. The other thing is Lua's arrays, I think, start at 1, so that's annoying as well. But I think it's easier to get into. I think there's Love2D is a pretty good library, so in that sense, yeah, I think it's pretty good to get started with. Now after that, so Lua's the way I think about Lua is it's kind of like a mini Python almost. It's used for a smaller set of things than Python, although actually it's probably more popular when it comes to I guess sort of modding games, but in a supported way. So games that support modding directly usually do, well, a lot of times have Lua scripting. I think you use Lua in Roblox. I think you use Lua in Gmod. So those types of games, Lua is pretty popular. So, but the other use case is I think you can do random scripting tasks like Python, just not as well. And then you can also do games with Love2D, which is a pretty good library. Although, yeah, I think it has a smaller set of things it can do. I think the main thing it does better than Python is just scripting for like modding games essentially. That's the main use case I know of where it's more popular. But for most things, I would lean towards Python. Alright, I'm reading chat again. What languages do I know? Here, hold on, let me pull up the list. I have this on my website. So my preferred languages are these ones. Obviously, mainly just Python, but these are the ones I'm also okay with working with, and that's the ones I would get a job in. I would not take a job for Java or Perl, PHP, or Lua. I've worked with C# and some other languages that are not on this list, but I know basically all the main ones, or I have some familiarity with them. The main one that I have, like, even though I've used C#, I'm sketchy on it, so I don't have it in this list. But I've used pretty much all of the major languages. I think the biggest language I haven't used might be Rust. I'm not sure. Wait, hold on, let me see. Let's Google this. Most popular programming languages. Where is it? There's a list. Yes, the TOB index. So I've used this one, I've used this one, I've used this one, I've used this one. I have not done Visual Basic. So I guess that's the most popular one that I haven't used. Oof. What is the time period on this change? It doesn't say what it is. So I don't know what the time period is, but that thing, it's falling off, whatever it is. I've used this one. I have not. Okay, I've done MIPS. So assembly language. That, why is it rising in popularity? What? But so the assembly language I've done is not like, well, first of all, assembly is a bunch of languages depending on the processor. So I don't know why that's grouped up as one thing. But also, the assembly I have experience with is not something that's used nowadays, really. I was just taught it in school because they wanted to teach the concepts of assembly, pretty much. So I kind of have experience with this. I have that I don't have Go. So out of the top 10, the only one that I haven't really done is Visual Basic. And then I've done R. I haven't done Objective-C. I haven't done Go, MATLAB, Swift, Ruby. Like, okay, all of these pretty much I haven't done. The only one I've done from 11 to 20 is R. But yeah, so I generally just kind of focused on the more popular stuff here. UDP or TCP? This is TCP actually, because it's not PvP. Since it's PvE, I can get away with TCP. For those who don't know, TCP is, well, UDP and TCP are network protocols, and TCP is more. Okay, UDP is like throwing the data at someone, and then TCP is just like communicating back and forth what you're doing and making sure what the data is, that the data that's being sent is actually received and everything goes properly. So I use TCP because it's easier to work with all the checks it has. It's just slower to get the data across. Alright. I'm almost caught up. It's easier to stay motivated when learning an easy language. Yes, I agree with that actually. Early on, I got very lucky that I started with Python, because shortly after I tried some other languages and got stuck. So, part of the main issue is just 12. So, I couldn't really figure out C or C++ yet. is giving me problems. So I got very lucky that I started with Python, because if I started with something else, I probably would have given up. I think I eventually would have picked up programming at some point, but it probably would have been like maybe 4 years down the road. Yeah. If I didn't start with Python, I would be very behind, because I would have gotten stuck and given up, and I wouldn't have had the like extra years I got from starting that young. You don't know if it's Pepe or just Pycharm, but you like how the separate imports, like, or how they separate the imports by standard lib and third party, etc. That is a PEP 8 requirement, I believe. So the idea is you do the standard libraries, you do the third party libraries, and then you do your own stuff. So there's actually supposed to be 3 sets. I didn't do that here. That's just spaghetti. Let me see if I can find an example. So if I go to maybe here, yeah, you can see this is standard lib, third party, mine. That's how it generally works. But yeah, also for those who don't know, PEP 8 is the style guide for Python that most people choose to follow. And it does tell you, I think, that you're supposed to use snaketail, so don't use camel case with Python, please. It's really annoying because sometimes you'll get like a third-party module or whatever, and it'll be written using camel case, which is kind of gross. Isn't multiplayer very difficult? Not really. Maybe it depends on your perspective. When I've done all sorts of other networking stuff, and I have lots of game dev experience, obviously. So with my almost 10 years of programming experience, it's not that difficult at this point. All right. What do you mean Scratch is meh? That's obviously the best programming language. What made you decide to go to the VTuber route? So I don't want to show my face. I actually was doing something similar, without actual face tracking, when I streamed on Twitch, like in 2015. So I used to stream programming on Twitch, like, occasionally in 2015, and for a time period I actually had like an avatar thing that was controlled by my keyboard. So I've technically been using this concept for a long time. I just went a long period without well, I used it a long time ago, and then I went a long period without doing it because I was kind of interested in doing face tracking, and then just didn't know how to do it, and then I eventually did it. But yeah, I don't want to show my face, but if you look at programming streams, they get very boring if they don't have like a webcam or something, so I feel like this is necessary, because I mean, otherwise you're just looking at text and you're listening most of the time. There's not much action on the screen, so it becomes less engaging to watch. That's why almost all of the popular programming streamers, which, to be fair, they're not even that popular, because not a whole lot of people watch programming streams, but pretty much all the popular ones, they use webcams, so. Alright. You just noticed that the ID is 4 digits. Is it going to increase when it's over 9,999 accounts? What are you looking at? Oh, this ID? That's funny. Let me see. Where is it? So over here, this is where it's generated. Or actually, that's the same code used, I think. I don't think that's the actual code for this, but is the same code used. If you do 2 to the 32 minus 1, that's the maximum number. So the fact that you see the number of 1,281 there, that is extremely unlikely for it to be that small, I think. So that's the chances of that happening, I think. If that's... So... Let me see, where's this coming from? So it's spawning into... Wait, well, first of all, I have my revolver. Let's see what the ID on this one is. Why is the unique ID 0? I don't know what happened there. That's weird. Oh, this one might have been generated with, like, separate, well, differently. But normally... Wait a second. What is this? Oh, those are like the player IDs. That's different, I think. What did I do with that for that? Hold on. Let me find that. Oh wait, no, there's a space. I'm dumb. So it comes from spawn. So server generates it on spawn, which means that that's going to be over here. Payload user ID. Oh, that comes from... Wait. Oh. Wait, okay, so this ID is actually, I think it's not like an entity ID. This ID is the request ID. I think it was the ID that's used by my networking library that I wrote to keep track of which message is which. So that's not entity ID, which the entity ID, like these IDs are incremental. So you see 1, 2, skip a bunch of them, and down here you see 1,281. Most of the messages aren't printed out. That's why it skips that much. All right. Where am I from? I'm from Florida. I am Florida man. Alright. Can I stream tomorrow morning? No, I don't. The plan is 10 a.m. on Saturdays because that's when most of the people who watch my stuff are available. As you could see, well, he left it seems, but he was awake for it, at least. Most people are awake from like 10 to 1-ish or whatever. It's just the one time that most people can watch. It's possible to make a mobile game with Pygame, yes. I don't do it myself, but it's possible, and there are people who know how to do it. It's a bit... There's not a whole lot of information about it, but it is doable. Okay, okay, I see the, where is the... I'm reporting the bots, hold on. Alright. I'm catching up very slowly here. So you finished day 2 of 100 days of code. I still don't know what 100 days of code really is. I've seen a lot of people talking about it on Twitter. I don't really know what it is. I've never looked into it. Do I watch Randy? I used to. I don't know if he even makes stuff anymore, does he? But I would occasionally watch his stuff. I think I might be in a Discord server for game developers. Well, YouTube game developers with him. I'm not sure if he's in there or not. He probably is. Let's see. Or actually, never mind. I won't bother looking into that. Anyways. How old am I? It says in the description. Alright. I'm so close to catching up here. So you're using C++ right now, and it feels to you that the logic, etc., is virtually indifferent from Pygame, regardless of what library engine you use. I disagree with that. If you're using SDL, then it should be very similar. If yeah, if you're using SDL, it's gonna look almost the exact same. But if you're using OpenGL based stuff, then things get a bit different because you get into like textures and texture mapping and all the OpenGL primitives and shaders and stuff, and that becomes pretty different. You can't even code with music, and I'm coding and talking simultaneously. So I've probably done hundreds of hours of, or at least, well, maybe 100 hours or so of streaming programming. So I have a fair amount of experience doing this. But the funny thing is that I can program and I can talk and explain what I'm doing as I'm programming, but I cannot read text out loud very well. I have a hard time with it. Well, if it's something I didn't write. Like, I can read this out loud pretty easily, but if I'm like reading a book or something to other people, I have a very hard time. So yeah, everyone's different. Alright, so the idea isn't used to get the player. No, it's not. The one I was showing you, it's not. Okay, I'm getting there slowly. Oh, by the way, when it comes to listening to music while programming, I recommend not listening to things with lyrics. That gets distracting. Unless the lyrics are in another language, in which case they aren't distracting if you don't know what they're saying. Alright. But my main thing I listen to when I'm programming is actually just chiptune. The only thing about C++ is type conversion. Well, and also just like type, this is static typing. So it's just annoying to deal with that. And then there's also like the memory management stuff and as well. Hello, Novial. I'm so close. So 100 days of code is coding every day for at least an hour or two. Talk to at least 2 people. Twitter 3. Tweet your product. Okay, so it's just a trend of like, I guess, accountability and getting stuff done. That sounds about right. Interesting. I've seen a lot of people posting stuff with that in relation to getting started with programming. So I guess that's where it comes from, which is interesting. Hello, Vertex Shader and Fragment Shader. Thank you for subscribing. That's an interesting name. And it ends with a semicolon. What? Should you put a player in a class? Usually, yes. Oh, you're using Raylib. Okay. But Raylib is OpenGL based, so I would say it's different in a few ways. One thing I noticed is that rotating an image, at least when I looked, seemed like a pain. What's my opinion on data-oriented design? My opinion is that I use it sometimes, kind of. It makes sense, I think, for some types of projects. I would have to like review it again to see the full details of it to give like fuller opinion on it. But from what I've seen, it makes sense. It has its use cases. And I think I use it to some extent sometimes. Alright. How does the server file from where the decorators come from look like? Wait, what? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense in English. I'm gonna take a guess at what this is supposed to be saying. Oh wait, maybe that does make sense. Okay. So the decorators, at server comes from host, which comes from here. and I can just decorate it to add, or I can use decorators, I think. It's endpoint decorator to add, it's like Flask. So if you look up Flask, it works the same way, pretty much. That's what I modeled it after. So you just set up and like different types of API requests, and I can write custom logic for each one. Starting to lose my voice. I think I'm making an abstraction layer for scripting something like entity component system in Python and doing everything else in C++. Wait, you're talking about creating the abstraction layer in Python and doing everything else in C++? What? Normally it would be the other way around. You create your abstraction layer in the lower level language and then you write your game in the higher level language. I might be misunderstanding your question there though. Alright. You should have designated time for questions, or else then I'll get back to coding. Yeah, this is how it normally goes. I'll code for a while. Well, I'll start the stream. I'll read the chat for like 45 minutes or 30 minutes, and then I finally get code. I code for like 30 minutes, and I read chat for a while again. When there was a time when I would have like 100 to 200 viewers at a time, and when that was the case, I would well, first of all, I had chat on slow mode, and then also I wouldn't read all the messages, but I try to when it's this small. Because that's one of the main reasons I think people come. I don't know, maybe it's just the people in the chat are here asking questions, but I don't know what the ratio is of people who are more interested in seeing questions answered versus watching me code. I don't know. I would prefer to lean a little bit more towards coding more, but reading 2/3 of the messages would be a bit weird. So I would say maybe once, if I'm averaging 70 viewers, I would probably switch over to not reading everything. Maybe I'll read half, but reading 2/3 is a bit weird because then people feel left out or something when I read like all the messages around them and skip them. All right. All right. Okay, there's like 10 more messages here. There's a lot of bots for the 100 days tag. People want you to follow them. Interesting. You're able to pass a vector of what origin point you want to. Okay, I think the Python implementation might have been a bit more limited or something. I don't know. I was looking at the Python API for Raylib, and I seem to recall rotating looked like a hassle. And it could have been they updated it as well. You need to count for how many times I say or That's just how I normally talk, kind of. Would you recommend a drawing tablet with no screen, or an actual tablet with a stylus for pixel art? Wait. Both of those can be the same thing. An actual tablet with a stylus does include a drawing tablet with no screen. The one I have does not have a screen in it. Like, I have a stylus and everything. I paid like $70 for it or something. It's pretty big. But it has no screen. My sister has one of the ones with a screen though. It depends on what you're doing. I would say that if you're a beginner, you definitely shouldn't buy one with the screen, because a lot of those drawing tablets don't last a very long time. I think the average lifespan's like 2 or 3 years. So if you're not very good yet, I wouldn't buy it as like an investment for the future, because a lot of times these drawing tablets don't last very long. I don't understand why they can't make good drawing tablets. Like, we have touch screens, but for some reason these drawing tablets break super fast. You know, they should be a simple concept, I think, especially the ones without a screen. But like, yeah, I wouldn't recommend getting a screen unless you're doing stuff professionally and you're already pretty good. Like, I don't even have a screen for my drawing tablet, and actually most of the time I'm using my mouse because the resolution is low enough that it doesn't matter. Like, all the pixel art I did today was my mouse. I don't think I say a lot. I mean, probably more than the average person, but relative to and I don't think I said a whole lot. Alright. I see someone's leaving. Bye. Alright, okay, so 5-minute coding, 30-minute reading. Yeah, that's kind of how it works. Or, I mean, I did like, how far away were we? I did like 30-40 minutes of coding. It's more like a 60-40 or a 70-30. Not quite a 1-to-6. You mean a Windows drawing tablet or a Chromebook? What? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Do Chromebooks have, like, touch displays now or something? Interesting. How do you make sound effects? You can record them, you can get them off the internet, or you can use SFXR or BFXR to generate them. Although, I do plan to look into the whole sound creation thing a bit more. I want to look into just sound design in general. I haven't researched it a whole lot. It's just kind of been throw sounds at my games. So I haven't put much thought into that or research either, so I'm not really an expert on that. I just do it. Alright. You found a 2-in-1 Chromebook tablet that you can basically use as an Android tablet, Linux laptop, and drawing tablet. That's interesting. So do you have to root it to use it for Linux, or does it like let you dual boot easily and stuff? Because I think the old Chromebooks you would have had to root them in order to get Linux and stuff. Alright, so I have caught up on chat. Next up would be to get back to coding this and get the items to appear, but I need to use the restroom really quick, so I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. My avatar is gonna be behind for a bit, so I need to fix that bug. There's a bug where it just caches. Well, look, it has a huge memory of like previous positions. If for some reason when I walk away, it like gets really backed up, and then it takes forever to catch up. So I can show you what it looks like. Hold on. Oop. So it's showing me sitting down right now and beginning to talk, I think. It plays at like 2x speed almost, and then it takes a while for it to catch up. But yeah, it'll get there eventually. That's an annoying bug. I'm just reading chat, skimming through chat real quick, and then I'm gonna get back to working here. It's still not caught up yet. It's working on it. Anyways, so the next step here is probably to send my data over to the server and my updated server code, and then wait and see if items, well, if it tells me that items spawned. So I do have to copy over the data though, so I do an scp-r on the server over to what is that? To my website, because I am in fact developing with a remote server. What is it? And I think it's online game. Do I have it here? Yeah, I think it's right there. What? What? Oh, that's a typo. I'm missing a T. But, alright, data is sent. Let's see if my avatar's caught up. Yep, looks like it. We're good. Alright, back to the coding for those of you who are here to watch me code instead of answer questions. So the ideal situation is probably to just have like a Q&A stream where I actually answer people's questions, and then a programming stream where I'll just kind of skim chat and read them if I feel like it. Alright. But I mean, one of the main reasons people come to a live stream as opposed to just watching like hour-long videos of people developing stuff is for the interaction. So I don't know. All right. So the data is sent. I'm gonna restart the server. And we're probably gonna get a crash, but we'll see here. Alright. Let's kill something. Gotta wait for something to spawn though. Oh, that was fast. No, he's going in the wall. He's going in the wall. I can't shoot him now. He's okay, crash. Let's go. Whoa. Okay. I have my error here. We have this. That is not the entity ID. That's the unique entity ID as opposed to the entity type. So I need to go to my server and fix that. It's under. Wait, what's calling that? Calculate drops. It might be under stats. So it takes the entity ID. So let's replace that with type, just for clarity. And then also I need to figure out where that's being done and not use that. We need to do where is it? Entity. Where's the? Oh, this is what I need. Wait. There we go. And then drops equals that. Oh, I didn't do anything with the drops. I'm dumb. I have to add the drops to the entities. So if I look in, do I have access to the entities from here? I should. Yeah, entities dot. This is an important part that I forgot. Entities dot spawn entity, and I give it the type and location. Spawn entity. For drop in drops. You spawn the drop at the death location. Oh, it needs the world too. So that's just part out world. So the last part is just getting the control comma brings up the settings for some reason. So this part needs to be the location of death. So that should be just entity location, if I'm correct. Yeah, that should work. Emphasis on should. Okay, I'm gonna send the code over to the server again, restart the server. And then we can test here. If you need help with a programming thing, go to my Discord server. There's channels for getting help. And also lots of other people that are capable of helping right now as opposed to me who's streaming. Okay, so crash again. Let's go. Woo. Problem here. I did not return drops. It tried to iterate over none. So, oops. Sending the data over, restarting the server, and we can run the game again. You can get Discord if you don't have it, unless you're too young, then that's a different problem. It crashed again, let's go. What? Oh, I mistyped my password and I didn't actually send the files. Let's go. Absolutely trolled. Alright. We try again. Oh, now that I'm looking at this, I should probably reduce the amount of chat shown when I'm in the game. Hold on. I'm gonna fix this real quick. That's a lot. This does not need to be... I could make it smaller, but the correct option here is to crop it. Where's transform? Edit transform. And then we crop top for 200 pixels. Okay, that should be good. Hopefully it doesn't... It should be fine. Alright, I'm gonna turn the scene switcher back on and we should be good. There you go. Now your screen's not flooded with random stuff. How did I not die while I was doing that? That's impressive. These things are missing a lot. Okay, now I died. Okay. So it crashed on my end because it tried to spawn the enemy. Oh, I shouldn't have deleted that. But it got the data, presumably. So somewhere in here, right about here, we got a problem. Over here. So it tries to spawn the entities based on that. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the type over to here. So type is going to become item. So let's see what how does this work here? So it just passes all of that data to initialize the new entity, and then it spawns it with the unique ID. So now I need an item entity. Where's this defined? The code I have for this project is a lot nicer on the client side. I wrote spaghetti on the server side. Oopsie. Alright. Could be constants. Nope. Where did I define these? Oh, it should be like entity registry. Here we go. So this works, okay, so right here I need to create a new entity, call it item.py. I'm not sure how these are registered, hold on. Register entity. Where are these being registered? Well, I can search for it, I guess. Okay, spring. Okay, I see. So if I go over here, okay, so I can take this. Actually, that's probably not a good reference. This is a better reference. So we want our reference tree. So this is not a humanoid, it's an entity. So we inherit from that. What does humanoid contain? Oh, it can hold weapons, okay. So I think the eyeball inherited from entity as well, right? Oh, it's a remote entity. What's the difference? Okay. So the remote entity has its data. Interesting. So I don't need most of the stuff for the items, actually. So even though the item is technically a remote entity, I'm not going to use it like that. Alright, so we register that. We take the arguments. Oh boy. Assets, position, size, type. Yeah, that's not going to work. So I bet if I look here, I would just like pass it along. What? Wait. Oh, humanoid works differently though, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. It goes straight to end. So, assets, position, size, type. Where's size coming from? Boy. So assets, the update data. Oh, but wait, no, this is where it's created. I'm confused. It's doing it with the update data. I don't know. Whatever. I'll write it as I see it. I'm gonna disregard whatever it was doing before here. So we have assets, data, and then we do so much growling. Assets. So where's entity? Assets, position, size, type. So the position can be data, location, that's easy. Size, stomach's still growling. Should be 16 by 16. And then type should just be item. So we don't have that. And we don't have this. Is there a base entity update function or no? Oh, it's for applying the animation. Does it need a DT? Maybe it does. Yeah, it does. Okay, so I need to take DT, this goes above, and that's that. Now, for the interesting part. So self.item item data equals data, and I structured this so that it's like, where did I do this? It's over here. Item data, that's the field. But it also has self.velocity equals data init velocity. And then I think that's it. So starting location already taken. Oh, it needs its ID. Self.id equals data ID. So instead of damaging this entity, you pick it up. Oh. Oh, speaking of which, I need to make sure that you can't shoot it. So that's probably in the projectile code. Update. So it has an is enemy property, which is what it's looking for here. So I'm not. Where's this is enemy? I might be just writing it here. Yeah, I did. All right. So for this just needs to move with physics. I think the entity thing already has that functionality. I can actually just check the player stuff. So take this. Just gets the nearby terrain, and then we need to grab that. That's our velocity, and then we need this, and then we can do if collisions. What types of things we have here? We have top, bottom, right, left. So top self.velocity 1 equals 0. Actually, top or bottom. No, I don't want all of them. And then we do the same thing except for the x-axis, which is right and left. And then we need to add gravity. So the gravity is just self.velocity 1 equals min, and the max speed. Oh, I didn't think about this. Oh wait, no, never mind. So the max speed is going to be 100. And then self.velocity 1 plus dt by 100. So it accelerates to its full downward velocity in 1 second. Alright. So that's a lot of the behavior stuff. So the thing is that rendering is going to get a bit funky here. I'm going to have to override the rendering probably. So under... Where is it? First off, it's going to try to load the animation for item. So I'm going to have to create that just so it doesn't crash. So for that, I'm going to go over here. Data, images. I'm going to lean forward a bit. We need item, idle. Doesn't need to be anything special. I just need an image here. So it doesn't crash trying to load it. Realistically, I'm using this though. So for this here, well, I need to find entity, and then in here we have render. So I want to override this function so I don't use it. So I'm going to take this, delete that, and then over here I'm going to write my own render function. And if I don't want to use the parent, I just don't call the super. And speaking of which, I'm going to take that out because there's no animation, so the parent update doesn't need to be called. So we'll render onto the surface with the offset. So all I have to do, actually I don't remember how the position was handled. Where's my entity? Dot position. So, surf.blit, oh, that's a temporary thing, so a self.position, 0, and then we're gonna want extra parentheses here. And then minus offset 0, it might be plus, I'm not sure. Let's see here. It is in fact minus. So, self.position 1, minus, and then we need the image. And then for this, it should have a reference, I think, to the assets already. What is it? I need to stop closing the entity, but I'm probably about to do it again. So yes, just .assets. So over here, I can just do self.assets, and this time I need to pull the assets, and I believe it's items. Yeah, items. The items, and then I take the self.item data, and then I have to go over here and see item data comes from here, which comes from here, which gets me the ID. I think that should be the rendering code, maybe? Oh, we'll find out. Alright, I am expecting a crash. I will be very impressed if there's no crash here. First I'm going to send over the server updates here. I'm gonna run this test and then I'll read chat again. Alright. Run the game. Generating the world. Here's the world. Alright. Okay, this thing crashed. Did it tell me? Okay. Render, world of render entities or render animation has no attribute. What? Oh, I pulled up the animation animator instead of the actual assets. So actually I don't do that. I do RT dot node assets. And then maybe that'll work? We'll see. Okay, wait for the things to spawn. Look at that. It's I need to restrict the horizontal velocity, but other than that, looks alright. It's also very slow. I want it to go faster when it pops up. So for that, I have to go over here, I think. And this number needs to be like minus 300, and then this one needs to be 200, 100, and then I need horizontal velocity normalization. So self.velocity 0 equals, do I have a normalized function? I really should. Should be in here. GeoUtil maybe? Yes. So from data.scripts.misc.geoutil import normalize, and then with normalize I can normalize it to 0 equals normalize self.velocity 0 by dt by 15, and then this needs to accelerate faster. and go down faster. And then the other thing is, I noticed that it looked like it was floating because that space on the bottom there, these need to be aligned to the ground pretty much. So I'm gonna pull all these down. Actually, it's kind of ideally I would reporting the bot again. So the problem with aligning with the bottom is that when I open my inventory, all these items are going to be aligned to the bottom. Like, here, let me show you. So I do this, they're all aligned to the bottom. And if I open my inventory, that revolver is just going to be stuck to the... like, this doesn't look right. I can't do that. So I think the solution is to dynamically size them. So instead of doing that, we make them as small as possible, and then using this information, I can align it how I want to. So I do that. But the max size is 16 by 16, that's how big the hitbox will be. So I do that, and then I go here, and when I render this, I need to account for the size of the image. So image shift equals, well, first let's grab the image. So image equals that. So image equals that. Copy. I don't know, we don't need to copy. So it's 16 minus the image that get width, and then you divide that by 2, and that's how much you need to shift this stuff by. And I'm doing integer division because this is for pixels. So this is how much it needs to be shifted by, and it needs to be shifted negatively. So image shift 0. I don't want to autocomplete it because it's gonna do a bunch of stuff I don't want. Okay. So that's that, but now I need to fix the inventory. That needs to be centered. This isn't centering. This is just kind of, wait, hold on. Now that I think about it. So for this, actually, for the y-axis, it needs to be, I need to add this number. For the x-axis, it's smaller, so actually it's also an add, but this one is divided by 2. I'm doing this math wrong. Okay. So now for the where is it? For the inventory. These images need to be aligned properly. Where do I... So we have that. I'm going to make a function for rendering items here. Def render item self surf position. And then we just do surf.bullet. Oh, wait, hold up. Item. We do item position 0, and then you take the item dot get width. And that's gonna be plus that. Divided by 2. Wait. plus 16 minus that divided by 2. Comma. And then we do the same thing for the y-axis. And then we have to replace all of our rendering code for items with this function. It should be pretty easy though. Self.render item, get the item image onto display at, wait a second, this one goes over here, and then the position is this, and then that's that one. But I also need to do the ones over here, which is right here. Wait, no, it's right here. So I have to take this and put that there, and this goes here. Which looks correct, I think. And then same thing over here, except the math is a bit different. And then I think one more or two more. Let's see. So we do that one, and then that might be it. Yes, the rest is, oh, we have the item preview right here, which it shows up in here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, right here. Oh, I'm gonna take this, and then we go right here, grab this last position, put that there. And then, theoretically, our items should be visually aligned properly. That's an annoying problem to have to deal with, though. Alright, so it looks correct here. If I open my inventory, click it, looks correct. Looks all good. Let's kill something and see if it drops the items in the right spot. That one didn't drop any items, or I messed things up. One of those two. And I won't know until I kill more things, because it is possible for them to not drop anything. I should have left a 100% chance. Now I have to wait for another enemy. Okay. That gave me 2. Why? Did it just pop out of me? Hold up. I think it popped out of me. That's funny. I don't know how that happened. Oh, I know why it pops out there. So the way that the eyeball positions are described is kind of funky. The location in the enemy data is not correct. So I have a couple of solutions here. I can calculate server side what the position should be, or I can tell the clients to calculate it by telling it which enemy they should come from. I think the more general solution is to have the server calculate it, and that's probably better as well. So I'll fix that, but I'm gonna read chat first. I don't think I'll read everything. My chat is frozen. I thought I fixed that. Okay. I have in here somewhere. How can it not reconnect? I can't kill it. It won't die. Uh-oh. This is the chat program, by the way. Hold on. I don't know why I can't reconnect. That's weird. But yeah, I thought I had fixed that issue by adding the reconnecting, but it can't reconnect for some reason. Let's just kill the other one. And then it should be fixed now. Now if people send stuff, yeah, we're good. We good. Alright. Back to reading. How do you make your pixel art more visible? Yours is very small, which makes the game lose the effect. Oh, watch my tutorials. I go over that. There's multiple ways to deal with it, but the main one is to scale up your rendering surface. There's also a render flag in Pygame 2 that's more efficient, like more performant, but I don't use it in a lot of cases. Alright. Times like these, YouTube ad translate feature. I mean, most web browsers you can like just select the text and maybe maybe not. I do have a plugin that translate it, but my default is to translate from Spanish to English, so I can't read that, whatever it is. If I didn't know about Pygame, what engine / library would I use? Okay, nowadays I would say, okay, look, when I started, I would have used Pyglet, because that was the alternative back then. Nowadays I would say, Godot, or with Python it would be Raylib or Modern GL. One of those three probably. Oh. So for the game, is it just mostly a ton of classes and functions? Yeah, that's normally how it works. That's how object-oriented programming works, yeah. The server code is more functional, though. Do I play chess? No, not really. You're wondering how you can make a GUI-based application in something like C++ or C#, and then embed an application like Vim with a screen of that GUI. Wait. You want Vim in your GUI, or you want the GUI in Vim? If you want the Vim, okay, you can't embed external applications in a UI really, but you can make applications to put inside your own UI. There is, and I was doing this at work, for C++, there's Qt, which you can use to make user interfaces, and they have an OpenGL element, so you can render stuff with OpenGL inside it as well for other types of applications. Am I finished with college yet? No. Should be next year, though. What is a fluffy potato? The standard answer I give is mashed potatoes, but a lot of people like to say moldy. I think we erased it out of the chat. What? I reported it earlier. Are you using RPC calls to send data? I'm not sure what the RPC is, but probably no. Is there a beta / alpha available to play that is only available to donators? So on my Patreon, I did post I think I posted the source a while back. The current version, well, The current version of this is very updated from the last time I posted it on Patreon. I might post it again on Patreon at the end of this month. But then I also do playtests. How am I going to generate a random world? I already did. And I did it with mostly the noise library, using Pro and Noise. What font am I using? The PixArt font is my own font. I made it, and it's public. I made it public domain as well, so you guys can use it too. Yeah, so well, the chat thing is I can't send messages in it. It's just monitoring it. I'm confused still as to why it couldn't reconnect there. That was funky. Maybe I'll do a thing where it just like, I don't know. Because the same way it connects when you first started, well, the way it connects when you first started up is the same way it reconnects. So I don't know why it couldn't reconnect. That was strange. So I'm gonna have to look into that, because I tested it reconnecting earlier by just like turning off my internet for a moment and then turning it back on, and isn't everything classes and objects? What? No, not really. In Java it is, not Python. If you ask, I'm not Samuel developer posted something that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think he's asking if 2D games with OpenGL in Python perform well, and the answer is yes. But I haven't done a whole lot of that. I actually haven't done. Well, no, technically my shader stuff is OpenGL in 2D with Python. But yeah, form's fine. Okay, my first advice to you is don't use PHP when trying to make a web application. It's very outdated and a pain. Use something else. Use JavaScript or Python for your backend. There's other stuff as well, just don't use PHP. OpenGL versus OpenCV, those aren't, they don't compete with each other. One's a image manipulation and computer vision library, and the other one's for rendering with your GPU. They're very different. OpenCV, yeah, use it for like computer vision and stuff like that. I gave my opinion on Lua and Love2D earlier in the stream. How did I create my text editor? I didn't, what? I didn't make one? If you're talking about this is Adam, this isn't mine. Oh, you went Vim and... Actually, wait, you know what? There might be a way to do it with Vim, like embedded it in another application just because it runs in the terminal. So there might be a way to embed that. But you can also just make your own editor. I can't tell what, there's several typos in that message. If you're asking if there's a Vulkan module for Python, which is my initial reading there, I would assume so. I haven't looked. You can Google it. Alright. I'm gonna get back to work here. So, I need to fix where the items pop out from. So right now they're popping out of where the eyeball was stored as being. So I need the server to calculate where it presently is. So for that, I think I actually already had code for that. So I can go over to here. Oh, this does it. So I don't like, it's not always calculated. So I need a thing for getting the actual current position. So I'm gonna create a function, a def current position self. I guess I'd take an entity ID. Entity ID. And that's it, I think. Does it care about world at that point? Yes, it does actually. World. So the entity ID world. Okay, so I take self.entities world, and then I think it's just entity ID here. Yep. So I take entity ID, entity equals that, and this works for differently for different things. So location equals entity location by default, but if our entity type, I believe, is the eyeball, we have to do some special stuff to get the actual position here. So for that, I do this, and I pass in the entity and the look ahead. So generally speaking, I think the look ahead is supposed to be 0, because this is for scheduling the positions, and then this needs to be present. So I think I do look ahead 0. This is like how many seconds in the future I'm looking up the position for. So I think I take the present. I could take the past too. That would be funny. Return location. So now I take this function. Oh, and then when I spawn the entity for the items right here, so entities dot current position. So the location will be that, and then we need the entity ID, the thing we killed, and then we take the world. And then that should give us our location, which we can put right here. And I can send over the data, and then hopefully this works. The position doesn't have to be perfect, and it probably won't be either. It just needs to be close enough. It'll probably crash. That is the likely outcome here. It's curving away. Now I have to wait for it to come back. It comes back over here. It's almost here, maybe? Yeah, there it is. Yes, I think it popped out in the right spot. Now the next question is, should the items have a glow? So there's the item. So yeah, should the items glow? And I think the answer should be yes. So most other things are glowing, so I can just copy the code. So if I go and update. Wait. How am I? Where am I getting that glow from? I thought it was in here. Is it in, let's see. Entities, probably here. Render. Just cause render on them all. Where am I doing my lighting here? Overworld, nope. VFX, nope. World. Lighting. That's not it either. Maybe it's underworld. Under. So it does for right here. The eyes have their own glow though. What? Oh, here's how I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna search for it. Oh, it does do it. I'm just blind. Okay. So, I can take this and the runner code, go. Actually, that can be an update, I think. Where was it for the eyeball? Was it under update? Just need to keep it consistent. It's an update. I don't know if this is correct. Where's it getting scroll from? Actually, I'm gonna put this in the render code. I think the only reason it's not in the render code for the eyeballs because it doesn't have a render function. So we have, that looks about right. I think this is like the size. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller for the items. And then we can go see if they glow. I noticed when I was killing things, the items went just straight up. And that could be random chance, but it could also be a bug. So I'm gonna have to check and see if they go straight up again or to the side at all. It's annoying when these things spawn in the wall and you can't shoot them. No, no. I don't get a very long time period to shoot this one. Okay, this one's gonna be easier. Let's go. It crashed because, for a very good reason actually. This is not supposed to be scroll, it's supposed to be offset here. Problem should be solved, maybe? We'll see. I'm gonna reach out while I wait for things to spawn. Oh, Python is my favorite programming language. How do you be good in Pygame? You just practice with it, I guess. For the most part, you just learn the basics, and then the rest is just not about Pygame specifically. It's just about solving problems and stuff. So the item glows now. That's good. I need to see if these items pop out. And okay, it does work. It's just this, the horizontal velocity normalization is really strong. So I'm gonna turn that down a bit. Let's turn that down to like 20. Not only that, but these items are flying out pretty fast. But yeah, for learning, like, you just learn the basics of Pygame, and the rest is just getting used to thinking about things a certain way. So just, I don't know, it's a matter of just problem solving and getting used to thinking about things in the game space. You feel like are you talking about the whole UI Vim project for the multi-threading? I don't know. How do I make tile layering? It's, you just render one layer, you render the next layer, and you go one layer at a time. And then if you render the images at a specific alpha, so like an alpha of 100, so they're partially transparent, you can see all the layers at once. So yeah, for editing, it's like you just select a specific layer, and then when you place a tile, add the tile to that specific layer instead of like all of them or something like that. That's how that works pretty much. You recommend adding blood effects to make it more satisfying? Yeah. So on my list here, I have add missing VFX. So there's a lot of things with no visual effects. So like jumping, running around, shooting. I want to add like projectile trails. I want to add like sparks or whatever, or some kind of collision thingy when the projectiles hit. There's lots of visual stuff to do here. I'm just working on the core networking and basic client-side rendering stuff right now. So right now I'm still working on this. I'm gonna add to my list here. Actually, no, that shouldn't be complicated. I was going to add to my list just making the lens rifle shoot, but I might be able to do that today here. I need to be able to pick up items. That is what's next. So there's a couple ways to do this. I can make it so when I touch it, I pick it up. Another option is press a key to pick it up. I think I'm going to lean towards you touch it, you pick it up now. Well, for now, because it's just easier. Later on, I might make it so that you have to manually pick it up, but we'll see. How can you make things... Wait, what? Spawn... Things supposed to be spawn? I don't know what that's supposed to be, because spawn light doesn't make sense. Will you ever consider barebone SDL2 instead of Pygame? No, because the main... Look, it doesn't benefit me much. It's just adding C++ or C syntax, and just makes it take longer. There's not a good reason to do that. Other people might want to do it. Like, you do get, there's some things with some, well, first of all, you get the full SDL2 functions, because Pygame 2 is not quite finished yet, sort of, when it comes to some of the SDL2 stuff, like the textures and everything for the hardware accelerated rendering. So for SDL2, you do get some of that stuff, but I mean, Pygame should be equivalent soon. The main difference is just that, aside from that, is just that in C++ you can do some computational stuff that you can't get away with Python. But most games you can just do in Python, so there's not a reason. So this looks like a fun Metroidvania. Hopefully you have all kinds of tools and weapons to use, and there's a focus on linear gameplay where I don't get lost exploring that level. So the way it works is the levels are broken down into a spawn area, a hub area, and like a core area. So you travel between different worlds. It's just kind of very vertical, and it's linear in the sense that you always just go top to bottom pretty much, but the actual world space for the individual worlds and how they're connected is 3D. So you can explore and go wherever you want, but the main gameplay loop is just traveling downwards, fighting enemies, and working with people. There's gonna be other stuff to do. You'll be able to like set up stuff, like trade, collect resources, stuff like that, fight bosses. That is the plan, at least. So in terms of traveling, it's mostly just to go down. So you shouldn't get too lost. If you get lost, it's like you can fix that pretty fast, and you can get unlost in like a couple minutes. Can anyone make a living out of only Pygame? Yes, you can. In theory, I could potentially do it. If I were better at music composition, yeah, I could probably do it. I think I'm almost there, because the games I've released that I've sold, I've averaged like $25 an hour, which is, if you're working full time, that's $50,000 a year, which is a professional salary in the US. And if you go to another country, you're really rich, actually, just off of the amount I made per hour of work on the games that I've released. It's just that I didn't put in very many hours, so I didn't get that much money from them. But it is doable. Like I know that for a fact. So yeah, this isn't a Metroidvania. It's a platformer. It's an MMO platformer. Platformer shooter bullet hell thingy. I don't use Panda 3D. No one really uses Panda 3D nowadays. What add-on packages am I using? Script and mainly just script and tab 9 are the main ones. That's pretty much it. I think it says how many people are paying on Patreon. It's like, I don't know, like 20. You can definitely make money, a living off of Pygame. Your argument for saying you don't know if your game's gonna get money or not applies for any type of game development. So by that logic, you wouldn't be able to make a living with any type of game development or any type of thing where you're making a product, which doesn't make any sense. But also, there is freelance work you can do as well. There are people to hire people to do freelance work with Pygame. I've done freelancing with I've done 2 freelancing Pygame projects. Alright, back to work. So I'm gonna check and make sure that I got the velocity normalization correct now. Make sure these items pop out correctly. And then I need to make it so I can pick up the items. So that'll be just pretty much just send the server a thing telling it to pick up an item, like just a new request. And then with that, then the server updates the client. I got the random chance with no item. Are you kidding me? When the server. Oh wait, you know what? I think I remember what that new item was supposed to do, or what that special pearl. The where is it? Whatever it was called, the floating pearl or whatever. I think the idea was to make it so that that item lets you jump in extra time. If you, I'm not sure where you'd put it. I think, wait. So there's a couple ways I can do that. So there, you guys saw that pearl item earlier, right? So the inventory is split into 3 parts. There's your bag, which is your generic items. So this is your bag. There's your weapons, and then there's your tools. So I'm thinking maybe I can make it so that you put it in the tools, and if it's in your tools, you get the bonuses from it, and then maybe they can't stack or something like that, so you can only have one of them. But that's like an equipment thing. For now, I think I'll leave it as an item, and then I'll switch it to an equipment type thing later. But I think, well, no, realistically, so this is actually mainly meant for like building and stuff. So it seems inconvenient if your combat items are here. So I think I might have to make like another inventory section. Or maybe what I can do is just like, if you have it in your bag, you get the stat boosts. But then, I don't know. I think I do need like a in equipped items that aren't weapons section. I think that's what I'll have to do, but I'm not gonna do that right now. But the plan is to make it so that you can get more jumps in a few different ways. And I think the idea, which I mentioned earlier in the stream that I forgot what that item was for. I think the original idea of the floating pearl was that you get, it adds to your jumps, and that's one of the main ways you can do it. And it's just like a rare drop from these eyeballs. I forgot to pay attention to the velocity normalization. Hold on. Let me just kill this thing real quick. Okay, that one like spawned on the ground. So I'm just gonna, I'm happy with that. I think maybe the velocity still needs to go up a bit faster. Let's take 400. We got the stupid bots again. I don't know why YouTube, I just pinned it. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Hold on, I'm almost there. There's 4 of them, and they're all separate accounts, which is annoying. So you have to individually report each one. All right. Just reading chat for a moment. Almost caught up. 3D models for bosses? No. I'm curious what level this is. Yes, it's level 3 now, actually, because I keep... my goodness, there's so many. So, did that just spawn again? What happened there? Anyways. I need to be able to pick up the items. I think I'm gonna go actually over to the server first and reduce the... Well, 2 things. I'm going to go here, switch that to 10, and then I'm going to go over to the server and take... Actually, where's this? Drop. Just calculate drops in the stats. Oh wait, no, where is it adding the... Oh wait, no, where is the velocity? Wait, it's over here. So right here, I'm gonna do minus 200, and this will be 50. Alright. So now, I need to make it so I can pick it up. So that starts on the client side. So the client needs to detect whether it can pick something up first. And then it tells the server, hey, I want to pick up this item. So I'm going to go over to... I'm going to close some of this stuff here. Right here, update. So this thing has a rect. So if self.rect.collide.rect rt.node entities.player.rect then it wants to be picked up. So I'm gonna print it out first to make sure I got this right, and then if that works, then I'll make the API request and write up all that stuff for that netcode. Alright, so first I need something to kill. I'm 1/3 of the way to level 4. Ooh, fancy. They're not spawning. Oh, there it is. Right when I say it. Okay, so I touched it. It tried to once to pick it up. So there's a couple ways to do this. I don't want to send 500 requests to pick it up, so I'm going to have an attribute here. Self.pickedup equals false, and then I can do if not self.pickedup, then you try to pick it up. Self.pickup, and then I can create a function here, def pickup self, and we go to rt.node networking, and then we're gonna have to make a request here. So I'll go over to networking. I think it's .client.makeRequest. So I'll copy this as a reference point, and then I can do pickup, and then I need an item ID, or it's an entity ID technically, and that will be self.id. So just pick that up, and that's that. So it sends a request. So there's a couple ways I can do this. I think I'll have the server send an inventory update in the updates thing as opposed to direct response. So I have to go over to I have to go set up the response, with the client's handling of the server's response, which is in networking right here. So for this, I have to do like at client.callback pickup def pickup payload SOC pass. Just do nothing. There's nothing to do because the inventory update will come in another thing. So now I go over to server, and this is where I have to write the code for picking things up. So at server.endpoint pickup def pickup, and then you get the payload. I don't need the self. I don't know how that got in there. So the player will be am I not sending the user ID? I probably forgot to. Hold up. That probably needs to be sent. So let's take a look at here. Yep. So that definitely needs to be sent. So we do that. You send our user ID. Tell it to pick it up for that person, and then over on the server, we get our player from the user ID, and then we want to find the item based on the item thing. So the world will be the player.world. So actually, we have entities dot. Is it entities.entities? I think. So we check if the world is valid. If entities.entities player.world, and we're going to do if payload entity ID in the entities for that world, then we can grab the entity, and then from here we have our entity, which should be an item. We have to do if, because you can't pick up an enemy, you can only pick up items. So if entity, I think this is just going to be, so I can do entity group is item. So make sure that's an item first. Then you can pick it up. So for this, I have to be able to remove it. So how did I do it over here? So when you kill it, let me check if what this delete thing does and see if it does more than I'm intending. Maybe. I'm starting to lose my voice. I'm reaching 3 hours. Delete, queue change. I'll delete here. Yeah, that's valid. So you delete that, and then you give it to the player. So item data equals entity item data, and we give that to the player. So I think there's some references for this actually. Right in here. So we're gonna put it into the bag actually. All new items go into the bag. So you just append it to the bag, it looks like. So you get the player and you go player.inventory bag. Where is it? Server. Wait. Wait. Player.inventory bag append item data, and then we want to save the inventory So that's just .save inventory. So player .save inventory. And then we need to send the inventory back to the player. So we can queue this update to send the inventory back to the player. And I think the last thing is just returning something, which is just return nothing, return an empty dictionary. We don't need that. So I'm gonna send this over to the server and see if this works. So return the server. So I should be able to kill something, and then if I touch the item, oh, I just noticed a bug. Right here, on the pickup, self.picked up equals true. Otherwise, I'm gonna spam the server with 1,000,000 requests. I'll read chat in a moment. So I should be able to touch this. Uh-oh. That's not right. What error is this? Item has an object ND. That is correct. That should be... that should be rt.node. Have I beaten Terraria? I've beaten the Wall of Flesh. That's as far as I've gotten. Actually, I think I went a bit further than that as well. Do you know how to cross-compile games? I don't know what you're talking about. Like, compile for different operating system? You haven't... You haven't walked, or I haven't walked? Because I did walk when I went to the bathroom earlier. Okay, so I should be able to grab this. It's running away from me. No, slow down. What? Hello? Okay, so, couple things here. First, if this touches the ground, if it just touches the ground on the bottom, so if collisions bottom, so I'll try to do this. That should set the horizontal velocity to 0 when it touches the ground like that, so it doesn't slide on the ground. Now the other end of this is I don't know what happened to my API request, so I'm going to put a thing in the server, print payload, and then over here print alright, restarting the server. Alright. Time to kill something again. Okay. Boop. The server got it. Oh, you know what it is? The server needs to tell the client to remove it. I forgot that step. That is important. Because the server did not tell the client that that entity was removed. So how do I do that here? So I need to queue this update. Kill. I think that'll work. You don't kill an item, but I think it does remove it. Where's kill? Oh no, that'll be under updates. Kill. Yeah, it just removes it. Okay. So, over here in the server, I need to queue the update to kill it. So player.queue update, and then you kill it, and then send this server, the new code, restart the server, and then alright. So now if you look at my inventory, this was actually already here because I was picking it up before, I just didn't know. Oh, oopsie. I shouldn't have done that. I need to add the item data. It doesn't have a description yet, so I can't click it. Oh, is this the first online game I've made? No. I've experimented with it plenty of times. So it got picked up there. Now it's in my inventory, so that works. I did notice a mistake I made though. Over here, this needs to be sent to all players in the world. So this is make this for that. We do that, and that's correct now. So I need to add the item data. So I'm gonna have flesh name, flesh description, a chunk of flesh from a strange creature, type bag, and then we have floating pearl, name floating pearl, description, a strange pearl that seems to float on its own. Or I'll switch out special because the other one also has the word strange in it. Type bag. This will be like a different type later when I add equipment, I guess. Now the last thing is the lens rifle. I need to make it so I can grab one. Name lens rifle. Description. A rifle forged from the flesh of a monster. Type weapons. I don't remember if that's actually what the things are called. Hold on. Go here. Weapons other bag. Okay, so that's correct. So now I should be able to click on the items at least. Hopefully, maybe. Who knows? Wait, would it send the list wherever the item is? What are you talking about? So, I mean, just because an income is inconsistent doesn't mean you're not making a living. People do like contract work all the time, and that's considered making a living. You think it would be cool if you had many unlockable characters with different gameplay styles like Smash Bros? The plan is to have a couple different characters, probably. I'm not sure if it's going to be cosmetic or if they're going to be different. For some reason, they might have different stats or something. I won't go like too in depth. Your goal is to eventually make at least $100 a year, then a month from a game you make. Not sure if it's even feasible, or if you have the resources available, team, etc. to do so. If you're going for profit and you're doing small stuff, you should work by yourself because it costs a lot of money to hire artists. It's not too bad to hire someone to make you music if you need that, but a huge part of game development is the assets visually. If you can't do that yourself, you're gonna be spending a lot of money because artists are very expensive. So I would recommend learning art if you're gonna do that, but $100 a year is pretty easy to do. I think my games do that, even though they were released years ago. They still easily make over $100 a year. Now $100 a month, I'd get more than that some months, less than that other months. But if I release another game, I should easily stay above $100 a month, I think, from that. What are good ways to market? You're watching the best technique I know, which is make a YouTube channel. That's the most reliable technique, at least. Yeah, so the whole messaging journalist thing doesn't work too well now. You should just have like social media presence. I think that's the main technique. I don't know what you do after that though. And frankly, I don't need to do that because of my YouTube channel. If my game is good, I can get it in front of enough eyes, and then it'll spread from there. So I should be able to, like, click this, and a chunk of flesh from a strange creature. Wow. And my revolver is a level 3. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give myself a lens rifle, but I do need to give it some stats. So, lens rifle. Fire rate. Let's do 5 shots per second. They also it needs to have damage stats. I think that's over here. Yeah. So I do lens rifle. Base damage will be 0.7. Level damage will be 0.3. And then I have to change the drop rates here, so that's also here. I'm gonna make it very likely that I get a lens rifle because I need one. Alright. So I think I do need to make an image for it though, so I take this and then I go over to weapons. So you align it with the handle in the center. So I have to stretch this a bit, and then so the handle needs to be in the center, so like maybe there. Yeah, that looks correct. Now I think that's everything I need. I could be chances are I'm forgetting something, but we'll see. I'm gonna send send the new code over so it drops, because I'm not gonna try and grind for that 1 in 100 chance right now. All right. Alright, okay. So now we just wait for something to spawn, and there's a 90% chance that it'll drop a lens rifle now. So... No, it crashed. What? Where's player tracker? Why doesn't it have random? Interesting. Oh, let's try that again. But the good news is the lens rifle must have dropped if it crashed then. I obviously didn't get it though. So just kill. So I don't want that. I want the lens rifle. Okay, so now I have my lens rifle. Aha! Look at that. Okay, I want the fire rate to be higher on this thing. Wait, does it not do damage? It doesn't do damage. Why doesn't it do damage? What happened? So first off, I want the fire rate to be higher. I think this should be like maybe 9. Let's say 10. And then I'm gonna, now that I got the item and it's in my inventory, I can fix the drop rates. So I'm going to go back to 0.01, which is what it should be. This should be another 0.2. And then I don't know what happened with my projectiles. I do need to rebalance it because I just changed, like doubled the fire rate. So I'm gonna go over to the stats here and switch this to what, 3.5. Make it 0.4. And then base damage will be, well, level damage will be, let's get, I think 0.1 is fair. All right. So time to figure out where did my shots go. I don't know what happened. I didn't get a crash or anything, so the game's running, or the server's running. So I'm gonna print out when I damage something and see if it, like, if the server's even receiving this. I don't know. That's not the correct password. All right, now I can run it again and maybe it'll work, but probably not. Where's, oh yeah, I forgot, it doesn't save the inventory like the way you have it sorted, so. But look, I shoot faster now. I need to get out of the, I need to wait for it to get out of the wall so I can shoot it. Okay, the server is being told about it. So the real question is, why won't it deal damage? So the server knows that shots are occurring. I can pull it over and show you guys. Here's all of the things where my client's telling it, hey, I shot that NC, I'm this user, and I shot it with this projectile. Oh, maybe it doesn't know the projectile exists. There's a lot of things that could be happening here. So first off, print damage, print projectile exists, and then you go print weapon exists, print entity exists, and then from here the rest should work. It's probably one of those cases where it's just like it can't find what it's looking for. Why hire an artist while you can learn or get a friend who can do proper art? I mean, artists are generally going to be better than what you can do on your own. It just costs money, and especially because a lot of them charge on this, like the pay scale for artists is kind of based on developed countries. So like they'll charge you as if they're working from the US or something, even if they're not from there. I don't know, usually. Okay, now, oh, that's the gun that should work. Right. So I need to get my lens rifle out, and then I shoot it. Oh. So it doesn't even... Oh, I forgot to send the server code over. I'm dumb. So I was waiting for the debug messages and I didn't get any because I didn't update the server code. Duh. Use GIMP for sprites. GIMP is a bit tedious to use, I feel like, for like that type of thing. It's a good application, but for the type of thing I do, I find it tedious. Alright. Okay. Here you go. Damage. Projectile exists. So, it found the projectile, so the projectile exists, but somewhere where it tries to find the weapon, it fails. So, I have... So I think that the weapon is defined by the projectile, so I need to see what weapon it's trying to look up here. So right here, so weapon ID comes from the projectile. So let's print that out. And then you go to the weapons. Oh, that's why. It's a inventory sorting thing. If weapon, or how can I need to distinguish weapons here? I guess level, or could go by unique ID. I think it's got to be XP. Or I'll do level. If level in weapon. I just need to know it's a weapon and not a normal item. Okay, so I'm gonna send this over. So the problem was that the lens rifle, according to the server, is in my bag and not out as one of my weapons that I'm using, because I don't have the part where the client tells the server to update the sorting of the inventory yet. So because the server thought it was in my bag, it didn't want to let me shoot it. So I need to I updated it so that the server accounts for the weapons in your bag when it looks up for weapons that could be shooting. Later I'll probably remove that when I have the inventory sorting synced properly, which is on my to-do list, but for now this is fine. See right here, it starts in my bag, and that's because the server thinks it's in my bag, but I'm moving it over. So that shooting works. Oh, this works. Okay, all of that works. Perfect. The next thing to do is item stacking. But let me remove these debug messages first. There's a lot of them. Alright, remove all those. And then remove bag check when inventory syncs. Or when inventory sync is added. Actually, I'm gonna put this on its own line because it's going way off screen. Alright, so now I want item stacking, I think. So I have my 3 items here, but I want them to stack in my inventory. So what I'm going to do, when I give the player an item to their inventory, I need to, wait, so over here, I need a give item function. Def give item. So this will go to the bag. So item type equals item data ID. For added equals false. I'm going to keep track of whether or not I added it to an existing item or not. Or yeah, okay, so I'll do for item in self.inventory bag plus self.inventory other. So the weapons cannot ever have duplicates because weapons are like they're unique, but in your other inventory for building and stuff, if you have like ladders or something in your inventory, you can have multiple ladders in one slot. So for that, those can have duplicates. So I have to check these two inventory sections for the items to try and add them to existing things. If item or if level, wait, I can just check for the unique ID, I think. So this one has unique ID. I just have to make sure that over in the entities when I create them, they don't have that, yeah. If unique ID in item, or actually rather if it isn't, if it doesn't have a unique ID, and if item ID is item type, then item count, I think they both have count, right? So that one has count, and then, well, the other one doesn't matter, plus equals item data count, and then we break and we mark it as added equals true, and then if not added, self.inventory bag.append item data. I think that should do it. So now from here though, we do need to save the inventory. So self.save inventory. And then with this, I can go back to the server and replace, where is it? Oh, it's on pickup here. Right here. I do player.giveItem and just pass it item data and get rid of these. And that should work. So that handles the stacking automatically. It'll stack if possible. And then otherwise it'll create a new slot. Well, it'll add it to a new slot. So I do need to add on my end a thing that shows me how many of an item I have. So for that, I can go over to inventory. I really need like a render item thing. Oh, didn't I do that? I did. Let's go. So for here, I can do self.nd assets.main font.render, and I believe it's just like the hold on, I'm just gonna pull it from somewhere else. Looking for arguments. Oh, that's a big one. Whatever. Ignore all this stuff. So this is text. So this is going to be str and then the count of the item. Ooh. going to do item over here. This needs to be added as an argument. Where's here we go. Is everyone down here? Yes. Wait. Are these different things? Item 1. Item 1. What happened here? So what does item lookup return? Item image. So on these ones, I need to take this. So item 0 is actually, wait a second. This one's just that. And then down here, this is very spaghetti-ish, and that's because it's UI. It doesn't feed into anything else, so I'm fine writing spaghetti. So we have item data equals none, and I can do if item data, and then we have our item, and we can do, I believe, just count on it. And then this is the surface, and then we got our position here. So this should be, so long position. Wait, is that just position? That's a lot of math for that position. Anyways, so that'll be at position 0 plus 16 minus, and then I'm gonna take the width of this text. So for that I just give it this, and then so take the width and subtract that, and then the rest is just position 1 plus 8, and this should actually probably be like 14, so it's not going off. All right, I think that might be correct. Might be, we'll see. I don't remember if I updated the server code or not, but I'm gonna go send it over anyways. I'll reach out in a moment. All right. Hello, Lonely Flute. Can you save stream? They're in my my live streams playlist. I just don't. They flood my stuff otherwise, my channel otherwise. I can't find count in item data. It's a key error, which means it's looking at a dictionary. Does it not have a count? I'm not sure what it's looking at here. So in the item lookup, the item is just, yeah, okay. It should just be the item data. I'm very curious what happened here. Okay. Why doesn't this thing have a count? Where's this coming from? I mean, technically this is already in the database. Do I have to log into my thingy and... Hold on, let me see if I'm gonna try and pull up the database here and fix it. I think it was just old code where it didn't have a count on the gun it gave me. Let me double check the generation code for this inventory though. Or no, it's not here. So I thought the weapons could only be made here, but I'm gonna just to double check. I'm gonna search custom name because it shouldn't show up anywhere else. Yeah. And does this have a custom name? It does. And then this does have a count. I think find project gen weapon. So this is a default inventory. This is where it's coming from. Alright. So let's see if I can get into my other database here. Oh, come on, I have to update NoSQL Booster, hold on. This is obnoxious. Gotta download 66 megabytes. Says 20 seconds left, I can read chat while I wait. But apparently my database thing doesn't support the version of MongoDB that's running on, well, that I'm using with my server here. It's not that insane to make a Pygame game multiplayer. Python's actually pretty good for networking. And there's nothing, it's not, networking isn't Pygame specific. You just take networking and then you take Pygame and you put them together. Alright, let's see if, is this the installer or is this the thing? That is an installer. You guys could see that pop up. Yes, it remembers my stuff. Let's go. Yes, yes, yes! Okay, I don't know if there's any sensitive data in here. I'm gonna check it first. Okay, it should be fine. Cool. Okay. So, this is the database. We have our different, so some of this stuff is for the website and then some of it's for the game. What I'm looking for here is the users. And actually you can see all the users that have played in the playtests here. This does not need to be like that. It can be like that. Alright. You can see other people that have played here. So these are my two development accounts. This is me. This is Zeprox. And then a bunch of people. This one's me. But so there's a bunch of information here. So the ID, username, password. This is after hashing. I can actually show it, and it's perfectly fine. Because it's after hashing. And then this is the hash of the IP address. There's like no sensitive information here, but it works just fine. Alright, so I'm looking for dev T1 who has an inventory with weapons. Okay, well, first of all, the lens rifle does have a count. The revolver does not have an account, so I need to add that. Edit? Wait, add field. Field count 1. Save. And then I think this one's gonna have the same problem. No, this one doesn't. It's just the first one. Okay. So now with that fixed, I should be able to look at my inventory with item counts. Oops, knock that over. Why did I just get? What am I getting spammed with here? Wait, oh. That's over from... I had a print statement in here that needs to be removed. That does not need to be there. There's a tutorial, and I don't know what TWT is. Multiplayer. Oh, Tech with Tim. Oh. I might make a multiplayer tutorial at some point here. You can see the count right here on my thing, and it's also here. I need to do it with a block font too, so there's like, it's hard to see it right now. So, do I have a block font? Let's see. If I go to assets, I should have one. Yes, I do. So all I gotta do, take this, render it again, and instead of main font, I use black font. And then for the positions, it's +1 on each one of these things. Have I been streaming? Oh, no, I haven't. I thought I was streaming so long that I went through all the music here. Alright. So I'm gonna do if item data and item data count is greater than 1. So you only want to show the stacked items if the count is greater than 1. Otherwise, you don't show the number count. Oh, come on. Did I actually put that in as a... I put that in as a string, didn't I? Did I actually? That is funny. Due to some... Unlike previous, click run button or press Control Enter to always run. Okay. Okay, so right here, inventory, bag. Wait, no, it's actually weapons where the problem is. Yep, this is not supposed to be a string. Make this an int 64, please. Now, this should work, probably. Well, I just noticed the chat broke again. I'm not gonna bother fixing it. So, you don't see counts here, which is good. So I need to kill something and get me some items. Oh, it dropped 2. That's really rare. So you can see I have 3 right here. I have 3. Why is the... Oh, I updated my inventory because I picked up items. So that's a thing. It keeps updating my inventory and the server doesn't know I put this into my weapons slot. Why? Okay. This is annoying. Every time it even updates it when I kill something because it gives XP to this weapon. Ow. And also when I respawn. Every single time it tries to tell me what my inventory is for some reason, it removes it out of my weapon slot. No. I want to level this thing up. Let me level it up. There's so many enemies. Okay, you know what? I'm just going somewhere else. I can't even. Okay. Welcome to actually a bullet hell. Ow. I don't know if, that's probably not hitting. I'm just... Okay, I'm almost dead. Where are they? Here's one. I think I just need to, like, restart the game and... I need to wait for the server to clear all those enemies because no one's there. Anyways, the item drops are working. So if you look at my list here, this is the thing I need to do to get it to let me keep that gun in my inventory. And then I need to remove disconnected /role players from clients. This is just kind of general multiplayer changes. And then eye spawns. If you notice, it got very hectic there. They don't really despawn until you leave at the moment, and they just keep spawning. I need to fix ghost bullets, add missing VFX, add ping to tab menu, and then after all this, I'll do the next playtest. So, getting there. So most of the rest, like the thing I just did today, was the hardest thing left on that list, I think. I just said earlier that I might make a tutorial. I'm not gonna confirm or anything right now because I might change my mind. Okay, so 60 out of 100. Like, gotta kill 3 more things, I think, because it's 15 XP. And then I'll be able to kill things really fast. Uh, 75. I didn't kill it. I died. Both those things are like really low health. Is that one? Okay. My thing is now level 2. I can now kill faster, in theory. 20 out of 200. Level 3, level 2. Let's go. What? The alignment here is different. That's because of the image size, presumably. I need to fix that. So that's over here. Where is the, so we have, this is open, and then selected is down here. Render item. We don't want that because we don't want the count over here actually. And then name. Okay, so this is the problem. This just needs to be plus. You can comment that out for now and do that. Hopefully that fixes that. Wait, I just noticed on those things I was just killing, were there any drops? I don't remember any. Did I break something? I don't remember the drops. Whatever. Oh yeah, I forgot the drops are kind of rare now. I'm just gonna wait for something to drop and then I'll be done. So level 50. So now I can switch the different items and the alignment didn't change. I do need to fix the text though. The text isn't aligned properly. It's close enough now. No one's gonna care too much. Alright. I need another eye, come on. Give me more stuff to shoot at. How do you keep track of the large amount of code in your large projects? You just organize it well, like file-wise normally. I'm like one shot away from dying, so I gotta be kind of careful here. That one didn't drop anything. The drop rates might just, it might just because the drop rates are low. It's like a 1 in, actually it should be like almost 1 in 2. I'm wondering if something is wrong. But I don't think I changed any code, so I don't know what happened. No, there it is. It's just, I was just getting unlucky. 95 out of 200. Okay, I'm gonna make this commit. Do I have any debug stuff to remove here? I don't think so. nothing major. Added new items and item drops. So I am very happy with that project. Well, progress. I've been streaming a bit longer than intended. I originally intended 3 hours, and that's how it should be for these Saturday streams. It should be 3 hours, but I went long here because there was some stuff I wanted to work on. So this is what I'm going to do next. Next week is probably going to be this. I can probably do more than this. I might be able to do. I might do all of this next time. And maybe some of the VFX. I can't imagine that these are a bunch of random small tasks. Actually, this one might take a while. It depends on how I implement it. But, yeah. I'm gonna read your chat real quick, though, before ending stream. The problem is that if I do a tutorial about multiplayer, only a few people watch it. I disagree with that. I think a lot of people would watch it. It's an issue for me. The issue is I haven't released a game that's multiplayer, so I wouldn't really consider myself an expert on that. And I have a thing against releasing tutorials and things I don't understand very well. I mean, I feel like I have a good understanding of multiplayer, but it's like. I would like to have a multiplayer game running first, because like if I made a major mistake somewhere, like security wise, I'd like to know that before I make the tutorial, instead of making other people make the same mistake. So, I'm gonna hopefully have something multiplayer out before I make a tutorial like that, if I ever do that. I don't plan on making this pay to win or adding loot boxes. Although if I do release this like on Steam or something, we'll probably have to have a monetization plan, because I do have to pay money for the servers. And the game, this itself, if I ever do release it, it will be free. So I'm not sure how I would do it. It might be like cosmetic stuff, sort of how like CS:GO and other competitive games do it. Anyways, I have been streaming for just under 4 hours, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here.